Good morning. Well, we're in my shop this morning, and in front of us is the chassis from a PHILCO 42 1008. It's part of a console that a customer brought into the shop a while back, wanted to have the chassis completely gone through, and the vintage PHILCO 78 RPM record changer removed, and in its place installed a 4-speed modern record changer, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. As with all the radios that I do, not only for myself but for my customers, I have completely done an overhaul, that's what I call it anyway, on this chassis. That's all the filter capacitors replaced, coupling capacitors replaced, necessary resistors replaced that are out of tolerance, a full alignment done, tubes checked, tube sockets cleaned, and controls cleaned to put the radio back in first-class operating condition to give the owner many years, hopefully, of pleasurable listening entertainment. This radio incorporates its own antenna. You can see a bit of it right there. Radio companies around 1940, late 1939, started incorporating antennas into their own consoles and even into the table model radios, so people didn't have to string a 50-foot wire outside, have a lightning storm come along because they forget to disconnect it, and zapola, there goes the radio. This is a very selective and sensitive unit. I'm going to take a listen right now. Remember, it's early morning, about 9:45. There's not going to be a lot on the short wave band until nighttime. That's probably your best listening. AM band is going to be a bit staticky. Looking around the shop, maybe you can see why. I have a lot of equipment in here. Some of it is in use right now, some of it is not. There's fluorescent lighting in here, and when you combine antique equipment with fluorescent lighting, you'll get a lot of static. It looks like a busy shop, and that's because it is. So, without further ado, let's give a listen and see if we can have a little fun picking up some shortwave this morning. It's already on the shortwave band. We'll turn the control. By the way, this radio has two bands. The shortwave band is from 9 megahertz to 15.5 megahertz. And the American broadcast band is 550 kilohertz, and it runs up to 1700 kilohertz. So here we go. As I say, we probably are not going to hear a lot in this area on our band this morning. All right, what you're hearing is the National Bureau of Standards, WWV. You can set your clock or watch by the tone from WWV and be assured that you will always arrive on time. And continuing up. I believe we'll be able to pull in a Radio Havana station. Yeah, right on 12 megahertz, 11.9. Still a lot of chatter across all the bands today because of the summit between Kim and President Donald Trump. Some of it pro, some of it not so pro. A little more shortwave. Okay. Now we'll dial down to the American broadcast band, AM radio to most people. Not a lot in here, a lot of static. I'll bypass a lot of that. And we should be able to pick up WATK at 900 AM, the local radio station. Well, I guess they have overcome their transmitter problem from yesterday. They weren't on the air, or at reduced power. Not a lot right now. That's WTNJ Milwaukee coming in faintly. And that's WSAU Wausau. Go down to the push buttons, and I already have this push button dedicated to WSAU. This one is undedicated. I haven't decided what to put on here yet. This is the Fan, and old-time radio listeners know that the Fan was originally AM 670 WMAQ Chicago. This is AM 840 WHAS Louisville, and this is AM 1120 KMOX St. Louis. These three you will be able to hear quite clearly, given atmospheric conditions are in good order. You'll be able to hear these at night. You'll also be able to hear, probably faintly, but still listenable, as WSAU. And now we're going to go over to the record changer. This is the WEBCOR 172. I harvested it out of a WEBCOR console. It's unique in that it will play 3 speeds of records. Most play 2 speeds, or excuse me, it'll play 2 speeds. Most play 1 speed and will mix 10-inch LPs and 12-inch LPs. This will intermix 10-inch LPs, 12-inch LPs, and 7-inch singles, known as the 45. But you must use that adapter. It's done with what WEBCOR called the Magic Mind, which is this semaphore here. It actually indexes with the records and at the same time changes the speed. Last record that I played was a 45. I think we can see it there. If I can. And so watch the control. As the record drops, it'll come over to 33. And we have pretty good sound coming out of it. Okay, let's go to the next, which will be a 10-inch LP. An old one. I believe it's Eartha Kitt. We'll stay on 33. All right. And now the last record is a 45 single. Drop down, you watch the speed change, switches to 45.
Did you say I've got a lot to learn?
And we have the lovely voices of Las Hermanas de Castro. In other words, of the Castro sisters, in a recording from 1954. So we'll eject. It will shut off. The shut off is working. I just have the record changer plugged into the outlet, so it's running independently. And I guess that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, we're always glad to hear from you on the YouTube page. And if you need service of vintage electronics, it's Callaway, Clock and Antique Radio Service.com. My name is Bill. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.